2. Enchanted Reeds and Teas was aptly named. It was a little cafe filled with the glorious smell of delicious coffee and handcrafted foods, as well as an entire selection of books. And, from the looks of it, the collection here was more complete than our local library. On the eating side of the room, there was a big crackling fire in the beautifully carved fireplace, decorated for the season with candles and candy canes hanging on a wreath. A little further down from the fireplace was a wall of lovely cathedral windows, giving a clear view of an outside world full of falling snow and people playing in it. We sat down at one of the little round 4-person tables where an older woman was already sitting. She smiled warmly at us as we approached. "Hello, darling. How has your day been? Any security breaches on the last resort front?" she asked, standing and giving Angie a hug and a kiss on the cheek. She was tall, fit, and built with all the things a woman could ask for. I was a little jealous. She had to be in her late 50s or early 60s, and yet she was in better shape than me. "Hi, Jellybean. I don't know if there's been any breaches. It's my day off, so I will not be getting any calls unless someone dies," Angie said. "And how's your shop?" "Oh, getting knobs all hot and bothered for these women whose husbands already have a side of young and dumb at their office," Jellybean said, shrugging her shoulders like this was a perfectly normal conversation, coming from a woman who was at least in her 60s. I, however, would have done a spit take had I been drinking. Also, my face was warm, so I knew it had to be red as a fire engine. Jellybean smiled at me, but her eyes appraised me like a piece of meat up for auction. "So, who's this?" "Jellybean, meet my best friend in the universe, Veronica Swift. Ronnie, this is Lois Wilkes, but we call her Jellybean," Angie introduced. "Why?" I asked. "Because I had jelly beans in my bra," Jellybean said, offering her hand to me. I laughed. "Second verse, same as the first," I said, confounded. Jellybean cracked a smile, a genuine one this time, and sat back down in her seat. Angie tapped my shoulder, letting me know I should take my seat. Jellybean has diabetes, and so she keeps an emergency stash of jelly beans in her bra in case her sugar gets too low and she's not somewhere that she can eat," Angie explained. "Oh, that makes sense," I said, nodding along. "So, Jellybean, what's your business?" "I sell those things that women buy only to please their man or woman," Jellybean said, leaving a dramatic pause before finishing with, "I sell lingerie. Lacy things is my business." "Oh," I said, my face probably getting even redder. "Aw, Angelique, darling, you brought me a new plaything," Jellybean said, beaming at Angie. "Jellybean, be nice. Just 'cause Ronnie is a bit of a prude, it doesn't mean you can play with her," Angie scolded, which only made me feel more embarrassed. I remembered seeing the sign to Lacy things on the way over, but I never would have guessed that a woman of Jellybean's age would be the one running the shop. It might be some ageism kicking in, but the sign just looked so modern with the times. But then, so was Jellybean. In her Louis Vuitton boots, she dressed better than I ever was. "Hi there, what can I get y'all?" a blonde girl with a cute button nose asked, her notebook at the ready. "We'd like the hot cocoa and chocolate chip cookie combo with 4 turkey paninis, dear," Jellybean said, not bothering to look at the menu. "Can you also tell Jade to get her slow behind out here, please? We've got a guest." The blonde girl smiled, made a note, and left us. I shot a questioning glance over to Angie. It wasn't as discreet as I was hoping, though. "Don't worry, dear. You'll like what I ordered. I promise," Jellybean said. "All right, then," I said, laughing slightly. "You're an interesting lady." "I get that a lot." "Yeah, usually from me," Angie said, winking over at Jellybean. "So, Veronica, what are you going to sell over there at that little shop of yours?" Jellybean asked. "You can call me Ronnie," I said, shivering a little bit at the use of my full name. It always seemed too formal to me. And I'm selling shoes. Really? But we already have a shoe store. Unless Angie here somehow knows something that I don't. Which is rare but not unheard of, Angie said with a grin. And yes, the last have kicked out big brand name shoe company. Something about the company trying to take over the resort and make it theirs. I don't know. Whatever the meetings were about, it didn't go well. Patrick is supposed to be packed up and out of here in 3 days when Ronnie has her grand opening. Jellybean gave an eyebrow wiggle, which was probably worse than any "that's what she said" that Angie could muster. I barked out a laugh in surprise. This lady was a kooky old pervert, and I loved it. She smiled at me. Glad to know you're not a prude. I can't stand them. Oh, I am. I just also can enjoy a little innuendo, especially from you. You're hilarious. Thank you. It looks effortless, but actually I've spent 40 years crafting this witty banter you see today. Something to strive for, I said, smiling. The blonde came back with 4 turkey panini on a tray and waters for us. Then a woman of average height came over carrying a big red platter with what looked like a cauldron balanced in the middle. Hot chocolate accoutrements piled in around them. Then, in the outer ring, there were over 24 chocolate chip cookies, and the smell was to die for. It's about time you joined us, Jellybean told the woman as she placed the platter on the table. I'm sorry I got held up on the phone with the wicked bride-to-be. She wanted a particular brand of vegan milk kept at a certain temperature throughout the reception on the hot chocolate bar, she said, sitting down next to Jellybean in the space where the 4th and final panini was waiting. I'm just glad I'm not catering. I just have to man the hot chocolate bar, and she's paying triple my usual fee. Nice, Angie said, clapping. I nodded. The blonde came back over with 4 cute candy cane painted mugs and a ladle. She placed a mug in front of each of us, passed the ladle to the newcomer, and told us to enjoy. Oh, sorry, I'm Jade, and you must be Ronnie, she said, extending her hand across the table. I shook it and nodded, surprised. Angie here has been talking my ear off about you ever since she started here as a security guard. She thinks you're really impressive. I smiled, glancing over at Angie for a second. Her cheeks were turning red, and I laughed. Well, that's nice to hear, I said, and it's nice to meet you. Both of you, actually. Angie said you were the 2 gals I had to meet to be on the in crowd of the business community here. I nodded. We strike a delicate balance between knowing most people's business, and I don't just mean what they sell, and not being involved in the drama between people. Excellent, I said, rubbing my hands together. So, what is the deal with this monstrosity, and how do we consume all the goodness? Glad to see you're not a wimpy eater, Jellybean said with a nod of approval in my direction. Here, we eat dessert first and regular food second. Pass Jade your cup and she'll serve up the hot cocoa. Fantastic, I said, doing as I was told. Is there space for one more? A familiar voice asked from behind me. I turned to find Teddy, false cheer held in his fake smile and his tight shoulders. And that's chapter 2 of A Pickled Wedding by Ember May. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will be returning next week with the next chapter of the book. And I hope that you will continue on this journey with us. Until next time, shine your light and be blessed.